So we'll start this off by you introducing yourself, what you do, where you do it, and why you do it.
Okay, so my name is Savior Dzange. I'm based in Accra, Ghana. I'm a tech entrepreneur, and what that means is I'm passionate about starting software companies. I've started 2 companies over the past 7 years. One is an enterprise software service for churches in Africa, and the other one is a payments gateway that is used by small businesses here in Ghana. Both businesses are actively running and are profitable. Sometime last year, I decided to take a break from entrepreneurship and just explore other opportunities, and that has led me to work with The Room. So currently, I consult as a payments product manager in The Room, and my role revolves around helping to build the next payment solution that can facilitate cross-border payments for the customers of The Room, and I'm giving them a good experience whilst at it. I'm a Harambian. I'm an E-Founder Fellow and Techstars and Next alumnus as well. I think that's on a high level what there is to know about me, and then continue to ask further questions.
Quite impressive. Impressive, I'll tell you honestly. And you seem to be doing a lot of great work. So keep it up. So I want to talk, and I want to talk tech startups in Africa, because my interest really is in if they're rising up or if we have a lot of techs that are budding up in Africa enough to make us or enable us to compete on a global scale. And if locally, if they're directed towards, if they're impact driven, I might say, if they're more about solving problems here, or if they're more cosmetic, like what I would say America has gotten to when they're solving for once, and what really the groundwork is in terms of tech startups and tech companies in Africa by Africans.
Yeah, great. So from my perspective, I think that Africa is the next biggest opportunity across the globe. And you don't need a soothsayer to tell you this. And the reason I say this is because, we are regarded as a continent that is so far behind, even in terms of, basic necessities like electricity, water, internet. We still haven't figured it all out yet. But in the midst of these challenges, you realize that there is a vast opportunity for people who are able to solve these problems, to first of all leverage the problems, and transform those into awesome opportunities. And secondly, we have become a very attractive ground for foreign investors and foreign innovators. As I speak to you now, I have a lot of friends who are Western founders, and they are all working on various projects and various products here in Africa. And when you talk to them to understand why they do so, they all tell you, look, the systems in the Western world are choked. It's like basically there's no more problems to solve. So everybody's trooping down into Africa to solve the next problem. And as they are solving these problems, they are discovering new opportunities. And so, the next biggest things across the globe are going to be happening in Africa. Now, getting to startups, I think that the reason innovation especially has been left behind for so long is because we've been trying to solve our problems in a lot of ways that are not necessarily African. And I keep saying that it's Africans that can solve African problems the African way. Yes, and so far we see maybe foreign multinational companies can solve our problems. Sometimes you don't even understand the ground, you don't understand the landscape, and so they can do a little bit of internet to go back. But we haven't grown in Africa, and we experiencing the problems, and I'm talking about us as entrepreneurs, having experienced problems firsthand, are able to relate to the problems, not just from an opportunity point of view, but from an impact point of view, because we know if we are able to solve this, the number of lives that are going to be transformed is enormous. So we are able to relate to these problems, and we have the heart to, solve them the way they need to be solved, so our people can be impacted. large scale. So I'm not surprised that there are a lot of startups springing up in all parts of Africa, from Nigeria to to Kenya, to South Africa, Egypt, Morocco, Ghana. All of these countries are very vibrant when it comes to startups. And the commonality I find is that these are passionate young people that are aggressively trying to solve Africa's problem, Africa's way, so that their own people can be impacted. So yeah, it is not surprising. And I think that in the next few years, we are going to see a lot more of this and a lot more impact driven from the kind of solutions that are being built.
Okay, no, I completely agree, especially with what young Africa, especially right now, is doing, really engaging in all facets of 4IR. I see them, they're already doing blockchain, and it's really impressive to see that there are people who are trying to be at the center of this development, and such that we don't lag behind always, such that we don't always lag behind in a way that is not good for facilitation of our development. So I now want to talk about your entrepreneurship journey and some of the challenges and victories you faced, and if possible, if you can really capture this, how frequently you think you face challenges, and what you think telling that will do to an entrepreneur who might listen to this in terms of thinking about challenges.
Yeah. So the path to entrepreneurship, especially in the tech space, is not an easy one. I've discovered that in Africa we are mostly used to brick and mortar business. If you are doing something in real estate, maybe your success is more guaranteed than someone who is building a software product. And this is simply because locally we don't appreciate some of these things, because first of all, we don't have the purchasing power. Everyone in Africa mostly just trying to survive, so there is no extra income to even focus on, to even afford some of these software consumer products, which we think will transform livelihoods in the next few years. And so it makes the whole journey quite a very difficult one. If you are selling maybe biscuits or cookies, definitely, when you sell one, these are the margins that you're going to get on it. And so it makes a lot of sense to a lot more people to go into such businesses that starting software businesses. So that already puts us in a very marginalized situation. Things are already difficult. But like I said, the story is gradually changing. We've had some really massive, investments coming into Africa, and they are all being channeled into tech, because everybody is gradually getting to the point where they understand that tech is the next big thing that will solve Africa's problem. So it is a good time for any entrepreneur listening to this to venture into anything tech related. It's not going to be easy, but it's definitely going to be rewarding.
You said tech is the next frontier to solve for Africa's problems. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes,
I was having a conversation with a friend who's also an entrepreneur and a consultant, and we're discussing this idea that we once first had from discussions at the World Economic Forum about Africa leapfrogging to the 4IR, to the fourth industrial revolution, and us being able to spearhead that, kind of like how we skipped over the landlines and all of that, and everybody, almost a lot of people in Africa are in possession of smartphones, right? So they were looking at least from what I heard, they were looking at leapfrogging from the same perspective that we could leapfrog the third industrial revolution, the manufacturing. But how possible really is that? Tech is amazing, obviously. Look at what we're doing right now. Look at this connection that is just possible, that is made possible by tech. But there's everyday life, right? And in everyday life, there are products that are used, and those products generate income. And we are largely not part of that process. What does leapfrogging look like? If we skip over the third industrial revolution, we need manufacturing. We need that to be given priority as well, because in everyday life we use products. In everyday life we need, I believe we need product-oriented entrepreneurship, where it's kind of like we're moving with the waves and skipping over a lot of stages, and thus creating an even bigger gap between those who don't have and those who do. I don't know, what's your take on that, on tech being the next frontier for developing Africa, and is it possible to leapfrog?
Absolutely. So, first of all, I don't think that there is any formula to, revolution. It doesn't necessarily have to be that you start from the first industrial revolution to the second, the third, whatever it may be. You don't have to start from an agricultural revolution now before you move to industrialization and all those before you actually get to internet and the information age. There is actually no formula to it. But the good thing is that we are in a position, or we are in a very good position, where we are able to copy from people who have done it before and have done it pretty well. So if we are talking about countries like China or the US that have gone through all these stages of revolution, I think that the key is for us to really pick the learnings these countries have amassed as they transition along all these stages and try to find ways we can replicate those over here as well. And the other thing I'll say in relation to that is, there is an African proverb that when you are late to the farm, you don't walk slowly. You need to run literally because you are late. In our case, we are the continent that has been left behind, and everybody attests to this. So we don't have the luxury of time now to go through all the revolutions one after the other. So where we have to leapfrog, we have to leapfrog. Where we have to run, we have to run. And the good thing is that, like I said, it is not a sequential development. You can do multiple of them in concurrency. So that stops Africa from investing heavily in an agricultural and in agricultural revolution at the same time, an internet or information revolution. We can do these two concurrently, and I think that is what is happening largely across some parts of Africa, where we see a lot of agri-tech businesses incorporating, technology and information and internet, all of these solutions into agriculture.
I completely agree, and I heard you and about especially about learning from those who've done it and done it really well. But my problem is that when we're looking at things like agriculture or manufacturing, the problem is that it's really imminent. It's like it's urgent that it be done because I'll give an example about my country. We're a population of about 2.5 million, give or take. And yet our president recently put a ban on importation of some vegetables and fruits like potatoes, onions, whatever. Within weeks, like 2 weeks, there was none to be found anywhere, and even onions. And, it's like I keep talking about this, but it was so surprising to me because of all things that we think of on a daily, food sustenance never seems to be one of them, because we're too caught up trying to catch up with the next thing, trying to make it there, learn that skill, that basic things. What I think what human beings need, or what at least a nation needs, basically it's I'd say a strong army, food and fuel, right? To not be short of any of those. That's when your citizenry is happy, or at least content to some level, even if they're complacent in fighting here and there, but those things are needed. When you're not participating in those things, in food sustenance, and saying we can focus on this for now and still include this, how effective is that, and is it at a rate that actually solves our problems? And considering how imminent they are, can we just leapfrog? Because that almost seems like creating a huge gap to me. I'm not saying that we should not infuse technology. Obviously we need it, like I said, this conversation, right?
Absolutely.
But how do we navigate that such that
I get what you mean. So it's like the fundamentals have still not been figured out, but yes, we want to move to we want to move at rates that do not entirely make sense at this point in time. It's like a baby or a child that has not learned to crawl but is trying to run, right? That is the situation here, and it's rather sad that our leaders kind of do not prioritize some of these things. I mean, definitely you don't want to have a situation where your country lacks food and fuel, and then you go about trying to invest in technology. The fundamentals need to be sorted out. fundamentals need to be figured. But I think that I still stand by my point that because of these things, because of these factors, where we know even we haven't been able to figure out the fundamentals, we need to be running even faster. You understand? We need to ensure that because the rest of the world is not going to wait for us. Whilst we are figuring out the technological revolution, maybe something else is going on somewhere else where we are not even privy to. You understand? For God's sake, we know that other parts of the world now are trying to make missions to the moon and back as easy as it can be, and using the least resources as much as they can. So with the way people are thinking, it means that if we still delay further in the way we do things, we are just going to be left behind. And that is why it's important for us to leapfrog, but not overlook the fundamentals, the basics that need to be in place. But it's rather unfortunate that most of our leaders in Africa tend to, scramble all of these things up. There's actually no prioritization. We don't even know what we want, from a policy perspective, from a government perspective. But if you ask me as a tech entrepreneur, I think that we need to keep an eye on where the rest of the world is going whilst we figure out our fundamentals. Because we cannot wait until the fundamentals are all figured out before we start thinking about technology, internet, information, revolution, and all of this. No. That definitely will leave us behind. So we need to keep running. We need to move faster than we are moving. And we need to also ensure that whilst we are doing this, we don't, destroy the foundations that need to be laid. Yeah.
No, I completely agree. That is such a satisfactory answer. And I'd say I'm with you, right? I'm always willing to stretch and see new perspectives, and I can see that. So I now want to talk about your journey with the room. I'm interested really firstly in knowing how you qualified for the program, because you were one of the, is it Pathfinders?
I'm not a Pathfinder, I'm a product manager in the room.
Product manager. Okay.
Because of my entrepreneurial background, I still help a lot of these young talents like Abiata. Back dating a little bit, how I ended up in the room, I think that it's still important to talk about my entrepreneurial journey and how that has led me to the room. So first of all, like I mentioned, 7 years ago, I took the bold step to start my first business right after school as a young graduate. I've not even taken any job, like zero work experience, just fresh from school.
That's bold.
Trying to do something together for myself. Luckily, I got enrolled in the Water Entrepreneurial School of Technology. It is the premium software entrepreneurship school that has been established in Africa, and they focus on training young people like myself who are passionate about tech and business. They give you the world-class training and give you all the resources that you may need, including investments to start a tech business. So I enrolled in that school for like 2 years, and whilst we were there, kept working at different projects just to find what I was truly passionate about. Along the line, I decided to combine forces with 3 other friends of mine, and then we co-founded our first business, which was an enterprise software service for churches in Africa. And the company is called Asoriba. It's still running effectively. We provide integrated software solutions from enterprise systems, payments to, social media, community engagement, and all of those for the over 2.5 million churches we have in Africa. So, because of that, I discovered another opportunity in payments and fintech, and so we rolled out another product, or we started another business called My Business Pay. That business actually was a payments gateway that we built to help local businesses, local SMEs, to be able to collect revenue from any customer of theirs wherever they find themselves in Ghana and other parts of the world. So it features mobile wallets as well as debit and credit cards, that also took off very well. Business is running well, it's profitable. And then somewhere around 19, after I'd done that for about 6 years, I decided to take a step back and go into business school. Go to business school, get a refresher, and then come back to the mill. But that was exactly the time that COVID happened. So I was torn between going to school or staying back and just trying something else. And that was just around the time that someone recommended an opportunity for me in the room. So the room is an organization that focuses on developing or accelerating the impact and growth of talented young people in Africa. So we do that by connecting them to impactful opportunities, whether investments for entrepreneurs or people who are looking for jobs. We connect them to very impactful job opportunities. And as part of our model, we train, we select, we train, and then we place these people in these opportunities. So what happened was I joined as a product manager for payments. Yes. So as part of our model, we select, and then we train, and we connect young and talented people to impactful opportunities. So by impactful opportunities, I mean opportunities such as investment for entrepreneurs, or connecting them to very well experienced mentors and people that can drive the growth of their businesses. And for others that are just interested in getting jobs, we connect them to various opportunities. So we do trainings in software engineering, in financial analysis, in sales, and cloud computing, all of these verticals that are in high demand at this point across the globe. Yeah, we do trainings in those areas, and then we connect our successful candidates to job opportunities afterwards. Now, as a product manager, you have expected that my work would just be focused on just building a payment rails and all of those. But with my background as an entrepreneur and with the experience I have starting two businesses, definitely I should be valuable to some of these young people that are trying to do same. And of course, the passion for it as well.
Yeah.
I am someone who has benefited immensely from such a model where I got selected and trained and placed in an opportunity. So I know what that can do for young people who are in my shoes. So I don't hesitate to offer assistance to young people that are doing or that are aspiring to follow the same path.
That's right.
And that's how come I took up mentoring people and helping them as they journey along entrepreneurship or maybe their professional lives, offering career advice and all of those. Yeah. So that is what I do now in the room with the product manager. But yeah, I still try to coach and mentor, or provide some level of professional advice for young people who aspire to be like us.
Which is what IBFA told me that you do for him. Okay, so speaking of helping young people who might be interested in tech and getting started and find it really exciting, but maybe the opportunities are limited, or maybe you find that some have already started on a course or that they are now not sure if they should be doing. I want you to, if you know some, notify them of any free or low-cost tech courses or programs that are online and how they can access them.
Yeah, so definitely right now we are running our software engineering program is in full swing. It's running now. We have well over 3,000 candidates in that program currently. They are set to complete in the next few months, and right after they complete the software engineering program, we're connecting them to job opportunities. Last year, when we did the same thing, some of the successful candidates are now working with Amazon, which you have thought that would have been possible for maybe a young Kenyan guy who is in a remote village somewhere and doesn't have access to even internet. But the impact we have been able to drive is to take this young talent, give them the world-class training and connect them to an opportunity such as working in Amazon. That is life-changing, and that is actually impact that we want to drive across the rest of Africa. So the rest of our programs are still open. Our software engineering program, like I mentioned, is in full swing, but very soon we are going to be opening applications for virtual assistantship, cloud computing, financial analyst, and sales. Doing modern and global sales. All those programs are about to open, and so they should just keep an eye on the Room website, www.theroom.com. You can just check in there and see when these opportunities are going to be open. And then you can apply. If you are selected, you go into the program. And the good thing is that for the first cohort of the software engineering program, it is free. You don't have to pay anything. Everything is free. And I'm hopeful, I'm very confident that the other programs will be free as well. So just keep an eye on our website.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so thank you so much for making the time. I had a really great conversation, and I love how you were able to tackle some of the things that I had been wondering about, and I know most people have been too. So I want to know what's next for you. So where's Savior in like 10 or 20 years, if you ever think that far?
Definitely. Yeah, so as a passionate tech entrepreneur, definitely I'm looking at starting another thing in the next few years. Right now, I'm fully committed to helping young people at the Room through the products we build and also through the professional guidance I offer in various ways. But then after a while, I'm going to take a step back and jump right into the tech entrepreneurship side of things. So in the next few years specifically, I see myself starting another company. I've actually started putting thoughts together on what is going to be around. I don't want to disclose a lot of details, but Africa should look out for something really big.
You just don't stop.
Yes, you just don't stop. You just keep grinding. And the good thing is, we never stop until we succeed. There are a lot of failures along the way, but we keep moving. And it's good to take a break sometimes and just get back to it after a while, which I think I'm doing now. So maybe after a year or two, yes, definitely I'll get back into the mud and try something again. I'm really considering starting another business along the sides of artificial intelligence and blockchain for fintech. I don't want to disclose the exact solution, but something along those lines. And I have a couple of ideas I'm still trying to play around with. So who knows? It may be the next unicorn in Africa. And when it eventually happens, I can make reference to this conversation and say, I mentioned this some time back. But really excited to get back into entrepreneurship once again after a while. In my life, I've promised myself to start 3 companies that have to do well. And I think I've done 2. So I'm really looking forward to the 3rd. And I expect it to also do well and maybe be the biggest among them all. And I can confidently
you said it will.
Dedicate the rest of my time to coaching and guiding other young people to do so.
Thank you so much for making the time. And when I come to your country, not if, when I come to your country, we're going to do this again. I'll definitely make time to have a conversation, and this time with visuals, because by that time I'll be doing video recordings of this very podcast. So I'm really excited to talk to you then, and thank you so much for making the time now.
Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure to talk to you, and thanks for the opportunity to talk about
You're
myself
welcome.
and all the things I'm doing. I hope this goes to impact a lot of lives. So,
I hope so too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Great.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.